Good morning, fifth graders. It's Dr. Milo. I hope that everybody is doing well at home, that you're staying healthy, that you're eating the right foods. You guys stop eating so many Takis and flaming hots. Oh, Lord. Yes, you got to get some vegetables and fruit in your body so you can keep your immune system up. All right. So, just a little bit of note. I need those of you to go back on the assignments in Google Classroom and read it very carefully. I have asked you to submit a video of your homework. Now, you do not have to actually show yourself if you don't want to. You could just show the assignment, okay, and then hit end. Or if you want to give me a picture, this I'm trying to mimic the same thing as a picture because I wasn't sure whether or not you could actually take a photo with your Chromebook. So I am going to ask you today to leave me a comment on this YouTube video because that lets me know that you saw it, okay? And I'll put that in the directions just as well, okay? We're going to start division by fraction. So we're going to do like 4 lessons. It's going to seem a little bit repetitive. And I may decide to change it. So anyway, we're at least going to do three lessons. So you know what division is. Like everyone knows what division is, right? Because you learned division long time ago. Even when you were smaller, even going into kindergarten, you learned what division is. It's to separate things into equal parts. And we've been doing actually a lot of division with the fraction already. But what can be quite challenging is when you have to divide a whole unit by a fraction unit, or when you need to divide a fraction by a whole number, or a fraction by a fraction. It gets kind of difficult in the problem sets. And the rote math, it's pretty easy, and I think that we taught 5A how to do that keep change flip, and you may have remembered that from fourth grade. But I want to do a couple of these lessons just to teach you, like, what are we actually saying? What does it mean to take a whole number and divide it by a unit fraction? Okay. All right. So here we go. That's our lesson objective for the day. I want to do a couple of fluency pieces though, just for a moment. Okay. And so let's go on down here, and I'll come back to. Maybe we'll do it right now. Okay, so let's do the application problem. I am going to show you the answer because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I did want you to see what this looks like. So the application problem says that the label on a 118 thousandths liter bottle of cough syrup recommends a dose of 10 milliliters for children that are age 6 to 10. How many 10 milliliter doses are in the bottle? So, probably the first thing you want to do is convert this from liters to milliliters, and we've done this before. And so, if you notice what they've done here, they said that this bottle times 1 liter is equal to the amount in this bottle times 1,000 milliliters. So they're doing a conversion here. And when you multiply this by 1,000, you get 118. If you also notice here that this is practically the same number here, but when we multiply it by 1,000, now this number becomes 118, because really you've got a smaller number being multiplied by 1,000, which becomes a bigger number. And if you were to look on your hundreds chart, that moves the number to the left 3 decimal place values. Okay, so then they took the 118 milliliters. And so remember that it says it recommends a dose of 10 milliliters. So they want to know how many 10 milliliter doses are in this bottle. So if this represents your whole, I'm going to break this into, I want to know how many 10 of these go in. Okay, so I've got to divide it by 10, and so I get 11 and 8/10. So there are basically 11 doses of medicine in the bottle with just a little bit left over. Okay, so that's our application problem. Let's let's go. Let's see. I did not enter a blank page here. Oh, I did. Okay. Let's go with the blank page for a moment. Okay. Hey, good morning. My chocolate drop is up. Sorry to do this in the middle of a YouTube video. Come here. Come here, come here. They'll be okay for just a second. Hey, Socket Mama. Hey, this is my grandbaby. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Doing okay? Honey, see you in a little while. All right, let's keep going. All right, here we go. Before we do the problem set, I want to actually do a few problems with you. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this. Hide the sidebar and do our tools. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing. All right. All right, here we go. All right, so let's do a little bit of fluency. So we had a problem the other day where we had to actually convert a fraction into a decimal. And so a couple of things that I wanted to just kind of review with you. If we were to take 1/2 and turn it into a decimal, what does that actually look like? So if we do it with hundreds, how many twos go into 100? Or what do I need to multiply 2 by to get 100? And that would be 50. And then 50 times 1 is 50. So if we look at this fraction and we say it, it is going to be 50 hundredths. Or it could be written like this. Or because we don't always need this 0, we can write that as 5/10. And that can be, we could have used 10 as our denominator just as well. And you can see that these are the same thing. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a couple more. So what if we did 1/4, right? And so how do I get that to a anchor denominator in tens? Because I know how to convert that. So if it was 10, 100, 1,000, I can't really do 10 because it would be a decimal, but I can do 100. So how many fours are in 100? There are 25. Or if you think about it as what do I need to multiply 4 by to get 100, that would be 25. And so then I multiply the 1 by 25, so you're creating equivalent fractions, and you get 25. So this is 25 hundredths, which can be written as, just like it says, 25 hundredths. And so this is the decimal equivalent to 1/4. Okay, let's do it one more time, a couple more times with familiar fractions. So if I do 3/4, we already know that 4 can go into 125 times. And so 25 times 3 is 75. So that's going to give us 75 hundredths. So if you're looking for some fraction to turn into a decimal, you have actually another method of doing it. You don't have to just do the division. But when it doesn't come out really nicely, then we do have to do the division. If we cannot get it to that anchor 10, 100, or 1,000, for instance. Let's do another one that we may be able to do, which is 5/8. Okay, so we can't get that to 10, but we can actually get that to, we cannot get that to 100. So it does not go in there evenly. But we actually can get this to 1,000. So the question is, well, how do you really know? So if you don't know, if you don't see it, then you can go ahead and do your standard division. Okay? And so I'll show both of them. I just happen to know that this is 8 can go into 1,000 125 times. And so what did I do? I did the division. Well, you say, Dr. Milam, if you do the division, why don't you just do the division here? And you can do that. You can do that. Okay? I'm just going to show it though really quickly because sometimes it's easy to see and other times it's not. So if you notice that goes in evenly. So I know that this top number is going to be 125 thousandths, and now I can write it like this. Okay, I am going to show it with this 5/8. Oh, sorry. I need to multiply. Woo, Dr. Milam. Let's see. Let's back up here just a little bit. I need to actually take my 5 and multiply it by 125 because that was the amount that I multiplied 8 by to get 1,000. Lord have mercy. Okay, so then what's 125 times 5? I knew something was looking off. Woo! All right, got a lot over here that I'm managing today. All right, so I'm going to multiply these two together. And so when I get done multiplying these two, I get 625. I knew that was wrong because that 125 was just wrong because when I went to do the division, I already knew that 5/8 was 625 thousandths. Okay, so the final answer to this is 625. 625 thousandths is the answer. Now let's do that here with standard division. Okay. All right. So 8 clearly cannot go into 5. So we need to add a decimal and then add a 0. So already we're starting with the decimal. 8 goes into 50. How many times? 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. You decide what division you want to do. Do you want to do this to create an equivalent fraction, or do you just want to divide these two? But I do want you to see that you can use anchored denominators in order to find the decimal. That's what we're doing. 8 goes into 22 times, and so 8 times 2 is 16. And then what do we have left over? 4. And so I'm going to bring down another 0. And I get 40. And so there's our 625 thousandths. Okay? All right. So you can use anchor denominators in order to change it into a fraction that you can easily convert into a decimal. All right, I wanted to just start our time with that today. Let's jump into a couple of problems where I know that division can be quite challenging. Okay, all right, I'm feeling blue today, but I don't feel blue. All right, here we go. So let's say that Sophie buys 2 pounds of let's see, how about gum? 2 pounds of gum. Okay, she really likes gum, and so she buys 2 pounds. 2 pounds of gumballs. All right. All right. So she buys 2 pounds of balls. So let's say that she wants to put it in some bags. Okay. Let's say that she puts 1 pound. It says, how many bags can she make out of 2 pounds of gumballs? I'm only hesitating because the okay, but it doesn't say how many bags she wants. Oh boy, I think we're going to. Okay, let's see that she. All right, so let's say that she has 2 bags. Okay, how many bags can she? How many bags will hold the gumballs if she separated them evenly? So if I've got, here's my 2 bags, and you already know Dr. Mom's going to do a tape diagram. So here's my bag. Here's 2 pounds. Okay. And so here's my first bag. Here's my second bag. How many pounds can go evenly in each one? This is not a hard problem. 1 pound can go here. 1 pound can go here. So this is the same thing as saying 2 divided by 2. 2 pounds. I want 2 bags. So there's 1 pound in each bag. Okay? All right. So if I wanted to, though, if I wanted to put a 1/2 pound in, I only have 2 bags, right? Or this is not working out. I don't know why this is. If she puts this in 1 pound, 1/2 pound in each bag, how many bags could she make? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Let's see. Okay, don't lose it. Don't lose it. Okay, so let's say that she, okay, so let's interpret it this way. She wants 1 pound bags, okay? So that means that there are 2 bags here. All right. So let's say that she wants 1/2 pound bags. So if she wants 1/2 pound bags, how many 1/2 pounds are in 2 pounds? And this is the division sentence: 2 divided by a half. Because I want 1/2 pound bags. So I'm going to take my 2 that I had, okay? But I want 1/2 pound bags. So what if I start with my ones again? Here's 1 pound in each one, but then I want a 1/2 pound. So that means that I want a 1/2 here. I want a 1/2 here. And these 2 halves make up my 1 pound. But I've got another pound over here. So I can split that into half. So now I have 4 bags that each have 1/2 pound in them. So how many halves do I have here? I have 4 of them. There are 4 halves. So that means that 2 pounds divided by a half is 4. Oh boy. This is a little different. I didn't say 2 divided by 1 or 2 divided by 2. This is 2 divided by a half, meaning how many halves are in 2. That's really what that division sentence is saying. Okay? That there are 4 halves in 2 wholes. And that's a little bit different than we've been doing. Let's say she wanted 1/3 pound bags. So let's see, do we have enough room over here? Yeah, we do. Let's say that she wants 1/3. 1/3 pound bags. So this is really asking how many thirds are in 2. That's what that division sentence means. So if I've got, here's my 2. I'm going to break this up. So I have my 1 pound. Here are my 2 pounds, right? 1 here, 1 here. I want 1/3 bag. So you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to divide this by 3, and I'm going to divide this by 3. Because this piece here is 1/3. This piece here is 1/3. This piece here is 1/3. So what did I do? I took 1 of my pounds and I divided that into thirds. I took the second pound and I divided that into thirds. So how many thirds are in 2? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 of these here. So that means that 2, oh boy, divided by 1/3 is 6. What is 2 divided by 3? So that's my 2 pounds divided into 3 bags. That's exactly what this means. Here's my 2 divided by 3. But this says 2 divided by 1/3. So how many thirds can be broken up into 2 wholes? This says take your whole and divide it by 3. I want 3 equal parts of 2. This says I want thirds of my 2. Oh boy. That means I want to take each part and divide it into thirds. Yeah, this can be very, very, very confusing, okay? Especially when you look at the division between these 2 parts, okay? All right, how about we go from here and let's do another one. Are you okay with doing another one? Let's do this problem. I'm going to insert another blank page here. Okay, and see if you are comfortable with this. Okay, so what if she has 5 pounds? Let's say that she has 5 pounds. She has 5 pounds of gumballs. And so she wants to share it with the class, okay? And so she's thinking that she only wants to give 1/4 of a pound, 1/4 of a pound of her gumballs. How many students? How many students can she share this with? Okay, that's a question. How many students? 1/4 of a pound. She wants to give 1/4 pound to the students. That means that she wants to take 5 and divide that into fourths. I did not say 5 divided by 4. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want my 5 pounds and I want to divide that into fourths. So I'm drawing a really, really big tape diagram because I need to draw first my 5 pounds. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So here are my 5 pounds. And this is a little different than the division we've been doing before. So here are 5 pounds, and I want fourths. So this is a pound, this is a pound, this is a pound, this is a pound, this is a pound. Okay? I want each pound to be divided into fourths. So I'm going to divide each pound into fourths. Do you agree with me? This is a fourth. This is a fourth. This is a fourth. Struggling here. This is a fourth. And this is a fourth. So the question is, how many fourths are in 1 pound? There are how many? There are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that there are going to be 4 here. There are going to be 4 here. There are going to be 4 here. And there are going to be 4 here. And so how many fourths are in 5 pounds? So there are 20. There are 20. So she can only give 1/4 of a pound to 20 students. Is everybody with me? I did not say that she was going to take 5 pounds and divide it by 4. If she did, there would only be 4 students. And so they would each get 1 pound. And I just happen to know that this is let's see, this is 1 and 2500ths. So I don't know how you take that. You're going to take that. You have to look at the remainder to see how many gumballs was going to be in 2500ths of a pound. So this says 5 divided by 4 says I have 5 pounds of gumballs. I'm going to divide it by 4 people. Each person will get 1 pound and 2500 gumball. This says I'm going to take my 5 pounds and divide them into 1/4 groups. Okay? However many gumballs are in there, how many students can she feed? She can feed 20, and they get 1/4 of a pound. We don't know how many gumballs that is for right now. Okay? Yeah, this gets a little tricky when it comes to the word problems because for 5A, we talked about keep, change, and flip, which is not even a part of our Eureka lesson, okay? But I do know that some of you brought this up, okay? So if you did that, 5 divided by 1/4 would be keep the 5, change the division into a multiplication, and then flip the second fraction. And so that's 4/1. Well, we know how to do this. This is just 5 times 4, which is 20, and then 1 times 1, which is 1, and 20 divided by 1 is 20. But I want you to see the mathematics of what 5 divided by 4 is, divided by 1/4, which is very different than 5 divided by 4. And these word problems follow that same type of pattern of taking this number, which is your whole, and dividing it into parts, taking each whole that's here and dividing it into parts. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Otherwise, this video is going to get really long, and the problem set is already pretty long. Okay, so I'm going to start with the problem set up here. All right, so what you notice here is what Dr. Milam just did. They said draw a tape diagram and the number line to solve. And so I want you to see, you're going to ask me whether or not you have to draw a tape diagram. And I'm saying yes, you need practice on this, okay? So that you understand what this means. So let's look at this first example. This is my 2 pounds of gumballs being divided into a third. So here's my whole, which is 2. And if you notice that I put each whole on each side, okay? So this is 1, this is 2. So now I'm going to take my whole and divide that into thirds. That's what they did here. So they broke this out into 3 parts. Each whole is in 3 parts. Okay, so then you count how many thirds, because it's asking you 2 divided by 1/3, not 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by a third. How many thirds are in each part? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now what you notice what they did here, they asked you first of all, how many thirds are in one whole? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 of them. And then how many thirds are in 2 wholes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so there it is here. All right, let's do this. They're doing it the opposite way now. They're saying they took some number, some whole, and divided it into 3 equal parts. Then they said, if 2 is 1/3, what is the whole? So some number divided into 3 equal parts. Well, I don't know if I like the way they did that, but we could just keep going here. All right, so this is 6. They're saying that this is 6, okay? So if 2 is 1/3, what is the whole? Okay, so what they did here was 6 broken up into 3 parts gives us 2. And that sounds very familiar because 6 divided by 3 is actually 2. I hope that that doesn't confuse you, and it might. Let's see. What if we wrote it as this division sentence? So you see this 2 and then divided by thirds. How many thirds are there? There's 6. This is saying 6 divided by what? Divided by 3. Because that's all you see here is actually 2. Okay? Yeah, let's keep that a little bit simpler there. Okay, so let's do this one. So I need 4. I don't know about you, but I really like the tape diagram. So I have 4. Okay, I've got 4, I don't know. 4 pieces. I have a 4-foot ribbon. 4-foot ribbon. And so I want to make bookmarks that are just a 1/2 foot. That's really what this is saying. So the question then is, how many halves are in each foot? So if I took each foot and I divided it by 2, why did I divide that by 2? Because I wanted each foot to represent a half. How many of these are in the entire thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many halves are in one whole though? There are 1, 2. There are 2 halves in one whole. There are 8 halves in 4 wholes. And so 4 divided by a half is 8. Not 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by a half is 8. All right, let's do this. So this is what number, when you divide that by what? By 2 gives you 4. Well, you already know what that is. That number is 8. Let's do the picture. So if I take this picture, and so it says 8 divided by 2. Okay? So this says if 4 is a half, meaning that this is 4, is a half. So I'm just taking this and dividing it into 2 parts. What's the whole? The whole had to be 8. This might be a little confusing. Yeah. So 4 is a half of some number. That's really what they're saying. Let's do it like that. 4 is half of some number. So 4, you could do that. 4 is half of some number. And we've done that before. So really we're saying that we know this part. And if this one part is half of your whole, then each part has to be the same. Yeah, I know this is kind of confusing here. Let's do this one. 2. So that means that I've got to start off with 2. Here's my whole. Not dividing this in 2. I have to divide it into fourths. But I'm going to start with my whole. So this represents a whole. This represents a whole. Is everybody with me? Okay. I've got 2 parts here. But then I've got to divide each part into fourths. So now I'm going to take this and divide it into fourths. So how many fourths are in one whole? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that there are 4 here, there are 4 here. Okay, so how many are in one whole? There are 4 fourths in one whole. How many fourths are in 2 wholes? There are 8. So that means that 2 divided into fourths, there are 8 fourths. Okay, this is a different problem. This says that 2 is 1/4. So that means that I'm going to divide this into fourths. It says 2/4 is some number. So if I know that this piece is 2, because this is 1/4 of my whole, that means that each one of these has to be 2. And so how much is this? This is 8. All right. Not easy because it's tricky. It's tricky. All right, let's keep going. Okay. All right. I'm only going to do one more of these, okay? Because I don't want the video to get too long, and you know I got to get to the word problems, okay? And I may not finish everything, just so you know, okay? Because we've already been going quite a long time. So this is 5 divided into thirds, okay? So I need 5 parts that I'm dividing into thirds. So first of all, I need my 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So here are my 5 parts, or my 5 wholes, sorry. My 5 wholes. Now I need to take my 5 wholes and divide them into thirds. Well, let's do that. So let's take one of your wholes and divide that into 3 parts. Okay, how many do I have here? I've got 3. Why? This is a third. This is a third. And this is a third. How many are here? There are 3 of them. So there are 3 thirds in one whole. So I'm going to have 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. How many is that? That's going to be 15. There are 15. How did I get 15? Because there's 3 here. There's 3 here. There's 3 here. 3 and 3. Okay? So there's 15 thirds and 5 wholes. Okay? Now let's do this one. It says 5 is 1/3 of what whole? So if I'm taking my whole and I'm dividing that into 3 parts, it says 5 is 1/3. So here's 1/3. And so 5 belongs to this piece right here. 5 is 1/3 of what number? Well, if this is 5, this has to be 5, and this has to be 5. So it's 15. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. This says 15 divided by 3 is 5. Or if you go backwards and say 5 is 1/3 of what number? 15. Hard stuff, hard stuff. It's kind of confusing. I'm going to let you do D. Take your thirds. I'll just set it up for you really quickly. Here's your three, not your thirds, I'm sorry, your 3 wholes. So here are your 3 wholes. And if this bothers you to write it like this, you can do this if you want to. So here's a hole, here's a hole, here's a hole. So now I've got 3 holes. If this makes more sense to you, then you can do it. Now you got 3 holes, but they have to be divided into fifths. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got fifths. How many do I have here? 5. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you with me? So that means that this is 5 and this is 5. So how many fifths are in one hole? There are 5 of them. How many fifths are in 3 holes? There are 15. Okay? 3 is 1/5 of what hole? So here I've got the hole. It says 3 is 1/5. So I said I was going to let you set it up, and I did it. So here's my hole, and I'm dividing it into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this part here is 3. Well, if this part is 3, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. So my answer is 15. Okay? All right. On these here, you definitely can use your keep, change, flip. I hope that you see that this is actually 5 times 2/1, which is 10. This is 3 times 2/1, which is 6, and so forth and so on. Okay? All right, I'm going to keep going. Let's do a couple of these problems here. It says, for an art project, Mrs. Williams is dividing construction paper into fourths. This is important right here. So she's taking her construction paper and she's dividing it into fourths. It says, how many fourths can she make from 5 pieces of construction paper? We did this problem with Sophie and the gumballs. So she has 5 pieces. Now, again, if it makes sense for you to draw 5 pieces of construction paper because that's how you can see it, then do it. So here's 5 pieces. Okay, here's my paper. I want to cut it into 4 strips. Okay, because it says that I want to do fourths. So I have to take this and cut it into 4 pieces because I want fourths. Here are fourths. A fourth of the paper, a fourth of the paper, a fourth of the paper, a fourth of the paper. How many fourths can she get out of 1 strip? She can get 4. So how many is she going to get out of 5? She's going to get 20 pieces. Why? Because there are 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here. I wonder what have happened if this was fifths or sixths. So if it was fifths, she wanted to get 1/5. Guess what? That would actually be 25 pieces. Oh boy, who got that? Who got that? Who got that? 25 pieces. What if she wanted to cut it into 6? How many pieces would that be? Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? 30 pieces. Who's doing the math in their head? What if she wanted to do an 1/8? She'd have to fold that paper, right? How many pieces can she get? Who got the answer? 40 pieces. Okay. That was for the people who get it. If you don't get it, it's okay. You can actually draw the pictures out if you need to, and you're still going to get the same answer. All right, use the chart below to answer the following questions. A hamburger, 1/3 pound. Oh boy. Pickles are 1/4 of a pickle, looks like. And then potato chips is 1/8 of a bag of, so this is their lunch menu. Okay. So when they serve hamburger, pickles, potato chips, and chocolate milk, this is what they give. Okay. Kind of like your little cartons at school. Okay. They give you 1/3 pound of a hamburger, 1/4 of a pickle. They give you 1/8 of a bag of potato chips and 1/2 a cup of chocolate milk. It says, how many hamburgers can Donnie make with 6 pounds of hamburger meat? What do you think the answer is going to be? If each hamburger is 1/3 of 1 pound, that's what that means. When you see 1/3 pound, it's like saying 1/3 of 1 pound. Remember that? So I've got to actually have 6 pounds. Are you okay if I just do this really quickly? Well, some of you are saying no. All right. Here's my pound. Here's a pound. How many do I need? 6 pounds. This actually might be better because I know when we take a tape diagram, when we break it up, we've been doing that, that's parts. So now, how about we have 6 pounds? All right, so this is 1 pound. Are you with me? I need 1/3 of a pound. Okay, this is not a 6. This is a B, just so you know. All right, so what if let's change the color. Let's do green. All right, so I need 1/3 of this pound. 1/3. So imagine you've got ground beef that's sitting on the counter. Not on the counter, but it's on a place setting. And so you're going to split that pound of ground beef into 3 equal parts. Okay? How many parts do you have for 1 pound? You have 3 equal parts. That's what it means, 1/3 of it, 3 equal parts. So you can get 1/3. You can get 3 equal groups out of 1 pound. Well, how many pounds do you have here? You have 6. So that's 18 hamburgers. Because 1 hamburger is 1/3 of a pound. So if I take 1 pound and divide that into 3 equal parts, I can make 3 hamburgers because I want 1/3 of a pound. All right, here we go. How many pickle servings can be made from a jar of 15 pickles? All right, well, this is, again, 1/4 of a pickle. 1/4 of 1 pickle. So if I take 1 pickle and divide it into fourths, okay, I took 1 pickle, divide that into 1, 2, 3 fourths. How many pieces can I share this with? I can share with 4 students. But I've got 15 pickles. How many see that you're just multiplying those two? Yeah, it is. So that's why keep, change, flip works. 15 divided by, I want to divide it into fourths. I'm not saying 15 divided by 4. I'm saying 15 pickles and I want to divide them into fourths. That's very, very different. If I say 15 divided by 4, how many pickles would be in each group? Well, it would be 3 and some, 3.5 to be exact, I think. 3.5. I'm trying to do that in my head here. Three and it's not a half. It's 3/50. It's 3/5. It's not 3/5. 3 1/5. Okay, is that right? That's not right. Dr. Mile divided by 4. So 4 goes into 15 3 times with 3 left over. Oh Lord, it is. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's 3 and 3/4. There we go. Woo! Making a lot of mistakes today. All right, 3. It seems like I'm making a lot of mistakes here lately. All right. As long as you're with me, it's good. And as long as we self-correct, that's okay too. So it's like 3 3/4 of a pickle. 3 pickles, and then they took 1 pickle and divided it into fours, and then gave each person 3 parts. So that's what this means. This means I'm taking the 15 pickles, and each pickle dividing that into fourths. So how many pieces am I going to have? I'm going to have 60 fourths, or 60 pieces. All right, let's keep going. This video is getting way too long here. All right, how many servings of chocolate milk from how many gallons? A gallon. That's an easy problem because chocolate milk is a half a cup. How many cups are in a gallon? Oh, maybe not so easy. All right, so how many cups are in a gallon? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody tell me? Cups in a gallon. Well, there are what? 4 cups in a quart. And how many quarts are in a gallon? There are 4. So that means that there are 16 cups in 1 gallon. So if there are 16 cups in 1 gallon, but I want a half a cup. So that means I need to know how many halves are in, half a cups are in 1 gallon. Well, I had to find out how many cups first were in a gallon. Now I want to know how many servings can I make? I can make 32 servings. And again, this is 16 times 2 over 1. Or if I drew 16 cups out here and I divided each cup, so let's say that this is 1 cup. Okay, so this is 1 cup and I divided that. I want to know how many halves are here. There are 2 halves here. So how many did I have? I have 16 cups. And so 16 times 2 is 32. Okay. All right, let's keep going. How much more? Oh, there's one more problem. Should we do this together? All right. 3 gallons of water fill 1/4 of an elephant's pail at the zoo. How much water does how much water does the pail hold? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think you would have to do? I've got 3 gallons here. Okay. And I want to 3 gallons fill 1/4 of an elephant's pail at the zoo. How much water does the pail hold? Well, if 3 gallons fill 1/4, so I'm going to I've got 3 gallons that hit. So this is the elephant's pail. And actually, it would be better if we drew it this way. Okay, so And the elephant can drink quite a bit of water. So this is the elephant's pail here. So here is 1/4. This is the pail. Are you with me? And so here's 1/4 of the pail, right? I should have did it with water, with blue, right? And this 1/4 here is 3 gallons. See what happens when you draw a picture? Sometimes you get so bogged down with the actual math that we forget to draw a picture. So here's 1/4, and that 1/4 is 3 gallons. So I got 3 gallons here, I got 3 gallons here, I've got 3 gallons here, and I've got 3 gallons here. How many gallons? 12 gallons. That was like the same thing as saying 1/4, oh boy, of some number is equal to 3. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you replay that one. That concludes this teaching session, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.